Hey everybody, back again, continuing our round Britain whiz. We're at Arbroath Airport, apparently at the RM Condor, a military airport that I shouldn't have landed at. Thank you, Craig, in the comments for pointing that out. Anyway, without any further ado, let us take off. So we're just going on a short 10-minute flight, just going to go across to Fife, hopefully fly over St Andrews. At an airport a little beyond. Come on, come on. Oh, tail draggers. Okay, there we go. So I decided this would probably warrant a slower aircraft. A flight over St Andrews. Just took my hand off the stick a second to check the map on my phone. So I think we'll pootle along the coast here to through Montefieth and to Dundee and cross over, and then head down over St Andrews. I did a big ton of Russia flights earlier today. Really disappointing, the scenery up in the northeast Russia. Either very low resolution satellite or just autogen. You still see the rivers though, and but very jagged, edged rivers, and some roads as well. So they weren't lying when they said you could do VFR the whole world. If you count that as just following rough impressions of roads. Miles and miles of arable farming up to the Cairngorm Mountains, I believe. Bit of a waste ground there, just off our nose. Maybe it's just too low lying, too wet to build anything on. is up with this trim? Minus 9% and still climbing. Though I have to admit I have not studied any of the aircraft I fly at all in any detail really. Beyond what the menu tells you, max speed, max height, range. I really should pick an aircraft and get to know it well. Okay, below is Montefieth and Douglas and Angus. And it's a bit of a conurbation really with Dundee. I'm not seeing much greenery between it and Dundee. This is a good height for the autogen cities, the ones that don't have photogrammetry. You can almost imagine that your house is down there and that you're really there. If I mentioned on my last video that I've been getting into whiskies these days. My son got me a bottle of something called Hague Clubman that I'd never had before, and it is actually really nice, and it doesn't advertise which part of Scotland it's from or anything. It just says single grain Scotch whiskey. It's great stuff. So this is Dundee. Stating the obvious. Football stadiums just below the left wing there, 2 stadiums and 2 track and fields below, just behind the tail, and a golf course. So pretty much sorted if you like your sport in Dundee. What is that warning? Going too fast. You need to be very careful in this plane not to overturn it or overload it with the G, otherwise the flight just ends. If you're on full realism settings, it says you've overstressed it, and game over. Okay, so let's come across. So there's our airport, but St Andrews is a little bit beyond it. You can see the golf course sticking out there, that little protrusion. So I think I will do a little tour of the golf course in St Andrews and then turn back and land at Luchar. Excuse the pronunciation. That spelling just says French to me. Luchar. Let's get it a little bit lower. Quite a big airport, Luchar. I wonder what the AB means. There's the famous golf course. Quite big. Definitely a good walk. And here is St Andrews, which looks very disappointing. Talk about it not office buildings like that. It's all St Andrews I saw was all probably 200-300-year-old stone buildings. What is that? No. Okay, let's head back to the airport. We'll get another look at St Andrews and the golf course on the way.
$500.
Yeah, nah. And World Update 3 is said to have better autogen buildings as well, more location specific. Let's see if I can just turn it right onto the runway. The runway's long enough. And this is where I frantically need to bring down the trim. When I started out with flight simulation in the 80s, the hardest thing I found was getting lined up with the runway, and it would take me forever. But now I can pretty much come in on it on any angle. The beauty of practice. Still too fast to put the flaps down. Not a problem, lots of runway. Drop some flap. Yeah. Small bounce. Not going to be too concerned about that. Perfect. Okay, hope you enjoyed it, and catch you on the next flight, where we'll be crossing Fife, I guess, and maybe land at Kirkcaldy or somewhere on the south coast of Fife. Or do we go all the way to Edinburgh? Decide on the flight. Okay, see you next video.